What's going on, guys? Marston here, back again with another video. So in this story, as you can see from the title, I skipped school and I got caught. Now, this is one of the many times I skipped school throughout my high school slash college career, but this time specifically, I was 15. I actually just turned 15, so I was in ninth grade, freshman in high school. And at this point in my life, I was carpooling with another student. I'm gonna just call her Emma. And what would happen would be that my mom or my dad, whoever, would meet up with one of her parents at the meetup spot, and we'd go to school. Usually, my dad would be the one to bring us into school, and her mom would be the one to bring us like back to the meetup spot. But on this particular day, we decided, you know what, let's change things up. I forget the exact reason why. I think my dad had an appointment or something. But instead of her mom or her dad, it was her cousin that was in college. He was like 20, 21 around then. And I thought he was super cool. Like, he'd be in the car with us a couple times since he was practicing to get his license, and he had just gotten his license around that point. He waited a while to get his license, but he was really, really stoked to get it, which will be important later. So, anyway, like I said, my dad meets up with Emma and her cousin. We meet up at the meetup spot, and Emma's cousin's like, how about I drive them into school, and then you can just meet us here. Don't worry, I'll go both ways this time. No big deal. Since, like I said, he had just gotten his license, and he was kind of pumped for it. And my dad was like, are you sure? And then he was like, yeah, dude, trust me. I just started driving. I just got my license. I want to take advantage. You trust that, right? And my dad was like, yeah, sure. Like, my dad didn't think much of it. No big deal. Trusted adult, whatever. So we proceed to do that. But on the way to school, we stop at like this gas station or something since he had to get gas. And Emma stays in the car. But I'm gonna just call her cousin Brett. Brett's like, hey, can you come in with me real quick? I have a question about a girl. And I didn't know what the fuck to say at that point. But come to find out, it wasn't anything to do with the girl or anything like that. He said to me, yo, bro, you down to skip school? And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'll drop off Emma. I'll tell her that you forgot something in my car or something. She'll go inside and no big deal. She wouldn't dare to snitch, right? And I was like, yeah, I bet. And I immediately just jumped the gun. If I was smart, I would have been like, no, the school's going to notify my parents or Emma's going to snitch or something like that. But, like, I'm not stupid. Well, I kind of was back then, but looking back, yeah, I was kind of stupid. And I just repeated myself. That's cool. But anyway, we do that. We drop Emma off at the school, and we go to proceed to plan. I'm like pretending to look for something. I'm pretending to look for my book bag or something. I forget exactly what I did. But Emma walks into the building, and once she walks into the building, me and Brett, we out. I'm like, so, what do you got planned? And he was like, I got a few things up my sleeve. There was this nearby IHOP near the school that I went to, and we got some breakfast at first. Then after, we went to the nearby mall for a bit. But then I said to him, I'm like, Brett, you do know that you're going to have to drop me off to my dad later at the meetup place, right? He's like, yeah, I got that covered. I know we have to be back at the school for 2:30 to pick Emma up. I'm like, what's we going to do when Emma asks where we were or where I went? And he was like, yeah, just tell her that, like, you forgot something and you ended up getting hungry or you got sick at first. Like, I forget what he said. Like, he made me cook up some kind of excuse that made zero sense. I remember that. Like, he said, like, some weird ass shit that just didn't make any sense. Stuff that anybody with a brain would be like, what? So I didn't think much of it. I was like, okay, cool. Because, like I said, I'm 15 at this point. I don't really care. I'm not thinking straight. Don't have a care in the world. But fast forward maybe like an hour later, I get a call from my mom, and I pretend like not to answer, like I'm not by the phone, because I'm in school technically according to her, right? But then I get a call from my dad, and I'm like, oh no. And I get a text, like a group text of both of my parents saying, Marston, Answer us now. We know you're not in school. So I end up answering my dad's call since I'm thinking, oh, my dad's going to be a lot more chill about it, all that. But I wouldn't say he was like screaming at me, but over the phone, you could tell he was pissed. He was like, Marston, why the fuck are you not in school? What the hell happened? And I was like, well, you see, Brett kind of, told me not to go to school. And he's like, no, 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 you're not blaming other people. Why aren't you in school? And I'm like, Dad, I'm telling you the truth. He literally told me, you down the skip, and I admitted it, that I said yes. And my dad was like, oh my God. I'm like, you pissed? And he's like, I'm both impressed, pissed, and disappointed all at the same time. I'm like, how are you impressed? And he's like, the fact that like you just admitted it, the fact that you were just so bold and skipping, you didn't think much of it. Like that takes skill, that takes balls. And I was like, oh, okay. But then I say to him, so what's gonna happen from here? What are we doing? Then he was like, well, if Brett has a brain, he'll drop you off at school, and you'll explain to your teachers what the hell happened. And Brett hears the whole thing. He's like, yeah, no problem. I'll bring him to school. And I look at him like, what? No. When he gives me that look like, do you want to be in more trouble? So I was like, all right, fine. So Brett drops me off at school, and it takes us about an hour to get there. So by this point, it's already like noontime, kind of. Like 11 o'clock, maybe. Maybe a little bit earlier, a little bit later. I forget the exact time. So I walk into school with the walk of shame. I go up to the dean's office. The principal's there too. And they're like, so, why are you late? What happened? And I was honest. I just explained the whole story. And let's just say they weren't too happy, rightfully so. And they said to me, at a regular school, you'd be expelled, which I was like, yeah, okay. Like, I gave him like that laugh, like, okay. I'm like, so what's going to happen? And they're like, well, you're suspended for the next day, and your parents have some more punishments waiting for you at home. So I'm like, oh, great. Oh, yeah, so when I got picked up, I didn't get to ride home with Brett and Emma. No, my parents came together to pick me up. They left work early to pick me up. And the whole ride home, they were like screaming at me. They were like, why would you skip school? Why would you be sneaky like that? You could have been killed. Like, did Brett give you any drugs, any booze? And I was like, no, 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 none of that happened. Everything's fine. And like, we're gonna test you. And they did. They drug tested me and everything like that. And obviously I came back regular, I came back fine, since he didn't give me any drugs or anything like that. But when I got home, my punishment was, like I said, I was suspended from school for like a day, and I was grounded for like 2 weeks. It was probably the longest grounding I've ever gotten, honestly. Because, like, they didn't even hide my Xbox and all my other shit in my dad's closet. They took that shit to work. Like, I saw my dad packing up my Xbox, my phone, my iPod, everything, whatever the hell else I had at the time. And he proceeds to put it in his car, drive to work, since he only worked like 10 minutes from our house. And I don't know what exactly he did. I think there was like a closet at his office, and he just locks that shit up at work. And obviously I couldn't drive, so I couldn't go to his work and just grab him. So yeah, I got punished a lot. And that's the thing too. So yeah, the TV stake. I know I mentioned in other videos when I've been in trouble, like they let me keep my TV and watch TV. So the TV stayed in the room, but they like canceled the Hulu account or whatever it was. So I could still watch like whatever was on cable, but that was it. So yeah, moral of the story today. Shout out to Luna. He gave me this idea. Go subscribe to him if you haven't already. But moral of the story is, don't do what I did, because you will get caught. Especially nowadays. Yeah, you will get caught. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. I'm really trying to get up to at least 50 subscribers now. I know that's not a lot, but it would still mean a lot. Alright, guys. Take care for now. Peace.